Parshas Vayechi. This Parshas Vayechi is a very special parsha for us because we're celebrating, Baruch Hashem, the extremely happy occasion of the bar mitzvah of Ephraim Asher Bohm. Nero Yoir, may we see a lot of nachas from him and from all of the family, all of Einiklach, Ir Einiklach, and everybody, including the Zaydis and the Babis. I did a little survey on the day that I'm recording this. I asked people, who is the greatest Rebbe of all time? And Kimat, everybody, a couple of exceptions, but Kimat, everybody said Moshe Rabbeinu. Then I popped the important question, who is the second greatest Rebbe of all time? Here I got a difference of opinion. Some said Rebbe Yehuda Nasi. Some said Shmuel Hanavi. One person even told me Rashi. And I said, that's not bad. That's actually very, very good. The majority of people, though, who answered told me Yehoshua. Yehoshua, in this respect, doesn't get much credit, and yet, if you look at the beginning of Pirkei Avos, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu was Mekabel Torah Sinai, Messiah Yehoshua. Yehoshua was the next in line, ahead of everybody else. What is Yeshua's real place in our Messiah, in our judgment in terms of godless? We're not looking at a contest, but we're looking to see who is chashiv and who we consider to be and who should be considered a great person. And the answer is in this week's parasha. It says in the pasuk, and that's another interesting point, one of the most important and memorable and momentous human activities in the Torah. We're talking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu's activities. There's so many, we have to just sit down and count them out. Kriyas Yamsuf, Matan Torah, all of the Nisim and the Neflos of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which of course are occurring with us daily, even until today. But we're talking about human activities, obviously Akedas Yitzchak and Yaakov fighting with the Malach in Parshas Vayishlach, yes, I was right. And the one that's coming up in Vayechi, a very momentous occasion, which only a few people saw, but we know about, is when Yosef brought his children to be benched by Yaakov, and all of the kids bring it home from yeshiva, the little kids, with their switching his hands, putting his right hand on Ephraim and his left hand on Menashe. And it does take up a few psukim in the Torah. So it is a momentous occasion. And when Yaakov says it, it says, Vayosem es Ephraim lefnei Menashe. Why is that? We all know why. Rashi tells us the answer. Rashi says, Lefisha osid Yehoshua, lotzeis mimenu, shiyanchil es oris, v'yalami Torah liYisrael. Who will come out from Ephraim? He who will be manchil, who will divide up and apportion all of Eretz Yisrael. And he says, v'yalami Torah liYisrael. He'll be a Rebbe in Yisrael. It doesn't say his name, interestingly enough. That part I didn't look into. It doesn't mention him by name. It just says that Ephraim is destined to have greatness coming out from him. And we're referring here clearly to Yoshua. The question that is raised by a Rebbe called Reb Ze'ev Klansveld, who lives in Antwerp. The name of his sefer, interestingly enough, is Minchas Chaim. I showed that to Rabbi Olbaum, whose sefer is also called Minchas Chaim. He thought that was interesting. So in this sefer of Minchas Chaim, from this Rebbe from Antwerp, he asks the question, yes, it is true that Ephraim will have greatness coming from him in the Osed Lavai, future generations. However, that does not denigrate or take away from the fact that Menashe was still the Bechor. And the Bechor has tremendous chashiva. So I'm looking forward to Mashiach coming, and the Bechor has come back to do the Avodah in the Beis Midrash instead of the Levium, which I understand is what's going to be. I'm not sure, but I sure hope so, because I'm a Bechor. So being Bechor is tremendous chashivas. So the question now is, which is greater? The chashivas of being a Bechor, obviously we know the answer, but the chashivas of being a Bechor, or that great people will come out from Tzaddikim and Gedolim, is that greater than a Bechor? So he gives a very, very geschmacka, a very fundamental answer, which is the lesson to be derived from this story. what is a person's purpose in life? When a person raises himself up, when a person takes out from himself the potential and turns it into the actual, makes it into reality, the things that which are inside of him. The Bechora, as important as it is automatic. Bechora, from the moment he was born, it's Mamela. Nothing to do with his own activities. He didn't do anything for himself to make himself greater. He didn't make himself into something special. Has nothing to do with his activities other than the fact that that's how he came into this world. However, what a person does for himself and makes of himself something great, is able to produce, is able to be productive, is able to do fulfilling his potential, as Yoshua did, that is a sign of greatness. And that was coming from Ephraim. When we see that Yoshua was able to do that, we see that he got that through the koich of his forebearer Ephraim. That these koiches came from Ephraim himself. And therefore, the fact that these great people came out of Ephraim is a simon that Ephraim himself was able to do that very fact. That was a Ma'ala Gedola, and that is greater than that which comes automatically. Yaakov Avinu weighed these two in the balance, and he felt that the Ma'ala of achieving your fullest potential by striving to do it and doing it is worth recognizing, and therefore he put Ephraim before Menashe to show how wonderful this was. Not only is this just a name, but this has to do with the Degalim, which we know the Ephraim's Degel was ahead, and also by the Chanukah HaMizbeach, when the Mishkan was inaugurated, Ephraim went before Menashe. So it was a recognition that had with it practical consequences and practical applications as well. It's a lesson for us. It's a lesson for every bar mitzvah boy. It's a lesson for every one of us whose bar mitzvah we can make it every single day when we put on our tefillin. As I've said before, every day when I put on my tefillin, I remember the first time I put on my tefillin. I get excited the same way that I did when I put on my tefillin the first time. It's a good idea to keep it in mind. Get excited. Make believe this is your first time. We Jews have discovered the fountain of youth. We could be bar mitzvah boys and bas mitzvah girls. There's no difference. Every single day of our lives, if we remember that, if we do that, if we fulfill our potential, if we're serving Hashem, not only with doing what we have to do, but with this lahavas, with zrizas, with real great concentration and putting our full koiches into it, we are fulfilling our potential. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will reward us. We will see Mitzvah Hashem Naches and Gezint, and we see all of our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren be well and be successful in this endeavor. Good Shabbos.